Yes. So good morning to all of you. It's very nice that you have taken time to join the special meeting for the purpose of 45-day challenge. How many of you are actually submitting it? I get the report. That's not a problem. Those of you who have not yet started, not a problem. Please start it now. There is nothing like late comer or something like that. In 45-day challenge, even if you are completing now all the backlog, that is also completely okay. If you are not submitting, you are keeping it with yourself, that's not a problem, but please do the studies. Uh, Submitting is actually helpful because it helps me to understand what kind of problems you are encountering. So it helps me for the purpose of our seminar, which I'm going to conduct after your first test series. And second benefit, which is going to be for you, is that for people who are submitting at least for 30 days, there will be a discount of rupees 1,000 in C intermediate. So if you are starting now, that is also okay. There is no condition that same day's submission should be happening on the same day. So you can do whenever you want. That's not a problem. That will help you for the purpose of preparing your studies systematically. Generally, what I have seen is that students have this particular feeling कि सर वो question मैंने एक बार किया हुआ है फिर से क्यों करने का. The point is the same thing, that in 12th standard or in 11th standard or in 10th standard, you solve the same questions again and again to ensure that in exam you will take less time. So when the paper pattern was fixed, when the topics were limited, when the adjustments were easy, at that time you are ready to solve the same questions again and again to ensure that your speed will increase. But when we are appearing for CA examination, when we already know that paper pattern is not fixed, when we already know that questions may be of different variety, marks weightage can be changing. In that case, how to ensure that your paper is going to get solved in the limited time and you are going to attempt all the questions properly, plus you are going to get good marks. And if you are planning for rank, then that should be easy. So for that purpose, the only way is writing practice. जितका जास्त वेळा तुम्ही writing practice कराल, similar question आला तरी सुद्धा, that is going to help you properly. Anyway, so let me now start with the questions which are asked by the students. Yep. Okay. Let me start here. I will hide now the names of the student who have asked the question, so it will be easy. You don't have to worry about that. I'll hide the mobile number also. Hide. Okay, yes. So now the question here was that while solving the question, just a minute, let me increase the font size. Yeah, okay. While solving the question number 2, I didn't find a need to draw creditor's account and opening balance sheet. But when I discussed that problem with my friends, they insisted that it is necessary to do the same. However, the figures I got directly by utilizing final accounts themselves seem to match the answers. Therefore, I'm unsure whether they need to be drawn in the exam. So if you are thinking of a question of single entry where you are required to prepare multiple different accounts, or maybe a problem of NPC where you may have to find out the purchase or creditors, etc., purchase of sports equipment, purchase of laboratory equipments, etc., then preparing a ledger account is a working note. That helps for the purpose of ensuring that examiner is not going to deduct your marks. So there are no separate marks which are given for the working note, but you may lose your marks if the working note is not prepared. So it is not from the viewpoint of gaining extra marks, but it is from the viewpoint of losing our marks, how to reduce that loss. For that purpose, it is better to prepare a working note. You can always get a full answer, but how are you going to prove it to the examiner that you have not copied it from the person who is sitting next to you, but you have solved it properly and you know exactly how to present that information. So you need not draw account fully. At least fold the page, write a proper heading, and then write the account. If in the last moment of the examination you are not having sufficient time, still I would recommend you to write the working note properly. In question number 3, I understood the working and numbers needed for the maximum loss method, and I think I got the problem right. But the signs of the numbers confuse me as to whether they were appropriate for the answer. So I presented maximum loss a bit differently so as to seem a bit more appropriate. But I'm unsure whether such presentation is right. So if you're unsure, don't do that particular thing. Very simple. Follow the presentation given by me in the class, or follow the presentation which is given in the study material if you find that to be more easy. My presentations are actually speaking improved version of study material. But if you find it difficult, go for the presentation of study material. Don't go for creating new presentation. You may get marks because institute accepts different presentation, but it all depends upon the examiner. And the situation with the examiner is that if he is good at checking all these different things, see, remember, the papers are checked by the examiner on the screen. Papers are not checked by the examiner on your papers. Are you getting the point? So what is the process which is happening? When the papers are completed by you or submitted by you, thereafter, institute scans those paper and then the paper are given to the examiners for the purpose of checking. So on the screen, it may be sometimes difficult for the purpose of checking everything. And they are required to give marks for stepwise answers also. So it is better that you are preparing in the manner which is already given in the model answer. So it becomes easy for them to go for doing the things. तो जहां तक हो सके वहां तक स्टडी मटेरियल के फॉर्मेट को कंटिन्यू करना है. थोड़ा अलग फॉर्मेट रहेगा तो ईजी रहना चाहिए, ज्यादा इन्वेंशन क्रिएट करने का जरूरत नहीं है. Ultimately, maximum loss method, highest relative capital method, they are basically statements. So there is no specific format. There is no particular standard for them. But as far as possible, try to follow the study material related format or format which is given by me in the class. Okay. Next is calculation of depreciation. Question number 2. I think model answer is sufficient for the purpose of understanding, because many of times students have put their doubts before checking the model answer. And I'm very sure that after checking the model answer, the doubt must have got resolved. If it is still not resolved, don't forget to ping me separately की सर मला अजून सुद्धा कळलेलं नाहीये. आपलं जे सेमिनार आहे त्याच्यामध्ये मी ते डिस्कस करीन की कुठल्या कुठल्या प्रॉब्लेम मध्ये काय काय क्वेश्चन मध्ये डिफिकल्ट आली होती आणि मॉडेल आन्सर पण कळलेलं नाहीये. दॅट आय श्योरली डू. ओके. Next is deficiency of insolvent partners. Capital should be shared in the capital ratio as per Garner versus Murray principle. In the model answer, it is shared in the ratio of 5:2. Now there are 2-3 different ways in which it is required to be seen. First one, Garner versus Murray principle is to be applied especially when the partner is insolvent. So merely because you are having the maximum loss method does not mean automatically you are required to go for Garner versus Murray. Check whether the problem is having situation of insolvency of a partner, and if insolvency is there, then surely transfer the deficiency in the capital ratio. That is a better way to handle the things. अगर वैसा नहीं है तो मॉडल आंसर में मिस्टेक है, मैं चेक कर लूंगा और उसको मैं सेमिनार में डिस्कस कर दूंगा. नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम. Countervailing duties economics, that I have already transferred the doubt to economics madam, Neha madam. She will be discussing it in the seminar. Okay. True and false were not new to me. Yeah. Okay. Something different and force me to think on them. Yeah, that is going to happen in accounts as well as in law. They will be asking you first question, first part as totally different than what you are expecting. And in that situation, you should be ready for that particular type of question. So true or false questions may come, true or false questions with expected answers. That means why you are giving a reason, why you are considering a particular thing as true or false. Reason is also required to be mentioned. So prepare that particular thing. Simple way is use all the questions which are given in your study material below the study material topic, or use all the questions which are given in MTP, RTP, etc. That is the easiest thing for the purpose of improving your question bank. Okay. I will recommend you not to just do the auditing, because what students do sometimes, theory question रहेगा, हाँ मैं पढ़ लेता हूँ और हाँ मुझे मालूम पड़ गया. That is something which you should avoid. You are still having a lot of time for the purpose of examination. You are still preparing very nicely. Examination is on 14th of May. We are on 11th of April. So we are having almost 34 days with us. So in that case, use it more effectively. Write down the answer at least once, because when you are writing, 3 things are getting used: your mind, your brain, that is your mind, your eyes, and your hand. It will help you for the purpose of retaining that information more properly up to the examination. Just reading, that means you are using your eyes and your brain. There is a chance that we may forget it very quickly, just like the phone number of our friends. Okay, so please remember that जितना हो सके वहां तक आपको writing practice करना है, theory का भी. That is going to help. That is going to be helpful. Now, question number 2, working notes. Okay, I have given the working note now. I hope you will understand it. If it is still not understood, don't forget to ping me separately. I will ensure that the working note will be discussed in the class, in the seminar. Piecemeal distribution. Now, this particular topic itself, I'm going to discuss separately again in seminar, because many students have found that piecemeal distribution is a little difficult for them. So I'll be discussing it separately, full topic as such, when we are conducting the seminar. Direct fact-based eco, theek hai, no problem. Difficulty in sentence formation, yeah, that is going to happen. That is going to reduce only when you are going to read your questions carefully and you are going to do the writing practice. So जी तुम्हाला मी मॉडेल आन्सर्स पाठवत असतो लॉची किंवा अकाउंटची, ती पूर्ण वाचायची, ती वाचून जर ती परत लिहून काढायची. दॅट इज एटलीस्ट ते क्वेश्चन, जो क्वेश्चन तुम्हाला कठिन गेलाय, दैट क्वेश्चन विच यू फाउंड इट टू बी डिफिकल्ट, एटलीस्ट वो फिर से बार देखने के बाद लिख के रखने का. दैट बिकम्स इजी फॉर द पर्पज ऑफ इंप्रूविंग योर मेमोरी रिटेंशन. Okay, I did not understand third question from today's law set. I have transferred this doubt to Neeraj sir. Neeraj sir will discuss that particular thing. Okay. Next, how to start any answer of law in case of not being able to remember the provision as it is. Please remember, when it comes to a question of definition or any provision, nobody expects you to remember the 100% definition. Even if you are in a position to reproduce 90% of the definition, then you are not going to reduce your mark. You are not going to lose your marks. So please ensure that at least 90%. Don't go below 90%. At least 90%. अभी सर ने बोला 100% नहीं रहेगा तो चलेगा, तो कुछ भी करता हूँ, ऐसा करूँ ना. Please don't do that. Please ensure that you are going for at least 90% of the definition or the provision wherever it is required to be written in a correct manner. That is more than sufficient. Nobody expects you to be remembering it everything. Even in real life also, whenever you are going to refer to a particular provision, you are going to open the book in front of your client also. So that is not something which is considered as a bad thing. But you are not going to read for the first time in front of your client. You should know at least the gist of it more systematically. Same is the case here. For examination, at least 90% should be reproduced by you properly. Okay, no doubt, not applicable. I'm very happy. Good, very nice. Economics questions, I am sending it to Neha madam. Can we say that there is a probability that the business cycle, again economics, Neha madam, not able to answer question number 1 of business law. I have given model answer. Go through the same. If you could not understand it, don't forget to send me a personal ping. I will share it with the concerned professor, Prasad sir and Neeraj sir, who will be discussing it in the seminar. Okay, entrenchment of a company, again, Prasad sir, Neeraj sir will discuss it. I don't know what is the way in which they are going to share the topic. Because for maths, Madhura madam and Vilin sir will be sharing the topic. For law, Prasad sir and Neeraj sir will be sharing the topic. I'll be sharing the doubts with all of them, and then they will be discussing it separately. Okay. Quorum and entrenchment provision, same. Entrenchment is a little difficult question. I know that. Read the model answers properly. It will be easy for you to understand how it is expected to be solved. No doubt, I'm very happy. Manufacturing account. Okay, manufacturing account, I'm going to discuss separately again in seminar. But the point is that manufacturing account is to be prepared by that institution which is having not only trading activity or not a service sector company, but it is purchasing raw material and it is converting into finished goods and then it is selling it. So in that case, that organization is generally going to have 3 different types of stock. One is the stock of raw material, other one is the stock of WIP, and the last one is the stock of finished goods. So they are going to have 3 different types of stock, out of which stock of finished goods remain as it is in the trading account, and stock of raw material as well as stock of WIP go in the manufacturing account. Stock of finished goods behave in the usual manner. Opening stock comes on trading account debit side, closing stock comes on trading account credit side. The stock of WIP also behaves somewhat in a similar manner, but only the place is changed. Opening WIP comes on the debit side and closing WIP comes on the credit side of the manufacturing account. The stock of raw material, number 1, it is changing the place. It is not in the trading account. It is going in the manufacturing account. And number 2, it is not shown in the usual manner of debit side and credit side. Instead, we calculate cost of raw material consumed. For that purpose, we consider stock of raw material, add purchases of raw material, add expenses on purchases, less closing stock of raw material is equal to cost of raw material consumed, which then is written on the outer column of the debit side of manufacturing account. I repeat, so manufacturing account is that organization which is purchasing raw material, converting them in finished goods and selling the finished goods. So in that case, they are going to have 3 different types of stock. One is the stock of raw material. Second one is the stock of WIP, and third one is the stock of finished goods. Stock of finished goods, no change in the location, no change in the presentation. Location is the trading account and presentation is opening on debit side, closing on credit side. Raw material is a different stock. Location is also changed, presentation is also changed. Location is in the manufacturing account, not in the trading account. And manufacturing account also, you will not be showing it on debit side and credit side. There you will show it both the things on the debit side. Opening stock will be added to the purchases of raw material and closing stock will be deducted from purchases of raw material. You will get to know the cost of raw material consumed. Okay. Then comes the next point. WIP. WIP location is changed, not in the trading account, but in the manufacturing account. And manufacturing account, debit side opening stock of WIP, credit side closing stock of WIP. All expenses relating to production, including depreciation of machinery, including depreciation of factory building. All these things will be considered in manufacturing account debit side. Trading account will generally have only opening stock of raw material, opening stock of finished goods, closing stock of finished goods, and cost of goods manufactured, which is a balancing figure from manufacturing account. Manufacturing account, I repeat, debit side opening WIP, debit side cost of raw material consumed by using an equation, then carriage inward, freight inward, wages, that is direct wages, basically indirect wages. Not indirect wages will be considered separately because they are factory supervisor salary. So direct wages, add outstanding. All indirect expenses, that is factory expenses, factory rent, factory municipal taxes, or maybe factory power, factory gas and water, factory supervisor salary. All these different things will be also considered on debit side. Then on credit side, you'll have closing stock of WIP. Balancing figure will be called as cost of goods manufactured, which will be on the credit side of manufacturing account, which will go to the debit side of trading account. Trading account will have opening stock of finished goods, and then cost of goods manufactured received from the manufacturing account. Credit side sales, credit side your closing stock of finished goods, and then GP. Thereafter, profit and loss account is as usual. All indirect expenses in relation to office and selling and distribution will go to P&L account. All indirect expenses in relation to manufacturing will go to manufacturing account. So these are the basic things. But if you still find it difficult, don't worry. In the seminar, I'm going to discuss that particular entire format again for the purpose of your understanding. Rights of disposal, I'm going to send it to law professors. OPC again, law professor. If the mentioned, if the mentioned, okay, the double again. Method of piecemeal distribution is not specified, then can we choose what method we want to follow? Yeah, basically yes. But the rule is like this. If the problem consists of insolvency, then you cannot choose the method. Then you must follow maximum loss method. Otherwise, if it is no insolvency problem, then you can choose any method which you like. Either it can be maximum loss method or it can be your highest relative capital method, which is also called as excess capital method. So just check whether the question is having insolvency of any partner. If yes, in that case, please follow only maximum loss. Don't go for excess capital. Okay. Next, nothing ठीक है. When do we have to use maximum loss method or highest relative capital method? अभी मैंने बताया वैसा. जिस प्रॉब्लम में इंसॉल्वेंसी ऑफ पार्टनर दिया हुआ है, उस प्रॉब्लम में मैक्सिमम लॉस के अलावा कुछ नहीं करना है. और जिस प्रॉब्लम में इंसॉल्वेंसी ऑफ पार्टनर नहीं दिया है, उस प्रॉब्लम में आपको जो अच्छा लगेगा करो, जो आपको कंफर्टेबल लगता है, इजी लगता है, वो मेथड फॉलो करो, नो प्रॉब्लम. Piecemeal distribution, yes, I have already promised you that I'm going to discuss it separately again in seminar, so not to worry. Okay, in question number 1 of final accounts, in adjustment number 2, will there be 4 effects? Deduct from purchases, deduct from creditors, deduct from capital as drawings, and appear on the credit side of trading account as drawings. Not required for 4 effects. टेंशन ही नहीं है ना, सीधा डाल दो ना. क्वेश्चन क्या है तुम्हारा? वो क्वेश्चन मैं निकाल के रखा था. क्या लिखा है? पर्सनल परचेसेस ऑफ सौरव अमाउंटिंग टू रुपीज 1500 has been recorded in the purchase day book. Now this is good that you have identified कि सर परचेस डे बुक में डाला है, मतलब शायद वो क्रेडिटर के पास से परचेस किया रहेगा, because purchase day book is a subsidiary book, and in subsidiary book if you record the transaction, that means it is obvious that it must be considered as a credit transaction. So you have rightly identified that it's a credit transaction, but they have not told you the date. So what is the guarantee that this transaction was done on 31st of March and the creditors are still pending? It might have been done in the month of April, it might have been done in the month of June. So we don't know exactly when it was done. If it was done in the past, so it's obvious that creditors might have given you credit period of say 30 days, say 45 days, maximum 90 days. Nobody gives you a very long credit period of 1 year, etc. So we don't know whether the creditor is still outstanding or not. We surely know that whenever this transaction took place, at that time it was a transaction of credit purchase. But it does not mean that this transaction must have been still pending. So no need to adjust it from trading account. No need to adjust it from purchase account also. Directly write it on trading account, credit side, buy goods withdrawn by the proprietor, and directly less from capital, goods withdrawn by the proprietor. I hope it is easy to understand. Okay, so these are the questions which I have identified that students have asked. जितने बच्चा लोगों ने पार्टिसिपेट किया है, अच्छे से क्वेश्चन पूछा है, थैंक यू वेरी मच. यू हैव हेल्प मी टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ मच मोर प्रिपरेशन इज रिक्वायर्ड एंड how much more is required to be added into the seminar. So thank you very much. And those of you who have not yet started solving, please solve, please submit, please mention your doubts. Don't hesitate. If you have seen it, I have hidden the names of the students who have asked a doubt. It will always help me as a class or as a class professor, as your partner for the purpose of CA Foundation, to ensure that you are not going to unnecessarily bring any losses for us. Okay. So let us try to ensure that our CA Foundation result is going to be first attempt clear. All your doubts, whatever you are asking, I am always going to send it to respective professors properly. Okay. So that is what I wanted to discuss. That's more than sufficient. Any other doubts are there, don't forget to ping me. If you have found that a particular point is not understood, despite of the fact that you have seen the model answer. Okay. So do that particular thing and start solving. In a day, I think with the kind of preparation you are having, it may take 1 hour, 1.5 hours extra over and above whatever studies you are doing. So do that particular things nicely and submit it. Okay. Chalo then. Bye-bye. See you.